Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Steven and Mike.
You talk first. I talk first.
Hey, everybody. Okay, we've got an awesome episode. Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. I am your co-host, Mr. Steven Boster, here with you. Excited to be here. A little pumped, a little more caffeine with my Dr. Pepper with cream soda, so I'm ready and raring to go. But I am here joined by Mr. Michael Shanks himself, who also has a special guest with us. So, Mike, say hello to everybody and introduce our special someone.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom land. And I did say it correctly this time.
Did, by golly.
I didn't even really pause. I just kind of gave it a little, smoothness. Anyway, so today we got a special guest. We're going to be talking something real fun in spirit of Halloween. Yes, we are going to be talking about Halloween Kills and some Michael Myers. And today with us, we have my daughter, Megan. Megan, say hello to everyone.
Hello. I'm a very awkward being, and I don't know how to do this very much.
That's all right.
That's okay.
Good.
All right. That's
well done. That's cool. Yeah, excellent. It's Megan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I
wanted to be on the Loki show, or the Loki episode.
Yes, we did have some conversations about that, but we are glad that you're here with us for the Halloween show. So, all right. So, everybody, as you know, last week our podcast was Intro to Halloween. And so Mike did a great job of giving me, the fill in on why he likes, the horror movies. If you haven't listened to that, that's a great intro really to today's show. We did talk about where we classified. We had this whole classification system of types of horror movies that really helped me. And we came up with classic, which was, how did we say classic was older? But then we ended up talking about early ones like Bela Lugosi, Dracula.
Right, yeah.
Those, I think, were golden age, I guess.
I like that. I like that golden age. So like the old Frankenstein, Wolfman.
Right, the Universal picture.
The Universal monsters. We also did not discuss another version of that, would be the British version of the Universal monsters, and that would be the Hammer. I believe they're called Hammer monsters, and they had their own Dracula, and I think they might have had a Frankenstein. I don't remember.
That's cool.
But yeah, so the British have their own classification of classic, or as we might say, golden age style horror themselves.
We may have to go back and do another episode on that or something, because that sounds fascinating.
I mean, Christopher Lee, from Star Wars fame, Christopher Lee comes out of that.
Because he did.
He was Dracula. Yeah,
I know which ones you're talking about now. Yeah,
he came out of the Hammer movies. So, got to give some love to Star Wars and Christopher Lee. Classic actor. So,
right on.
Yeah.
I saw a post one time where he's got there's an article written about him about Christopher Lee has a whole occult library.
I believe it.
Is rumor. So yeah. So, but then so the other classifications we had were slasher, supernatural, teen, and modern. And modern we didn't know what to do with, but slasher was kind of the realm where we were talking about with Halloween.
Right.
And so I'm only mentioning it because I'm going to come back to that. But I was trying to look through these and go, I think the biggest revelation I came away with last week's episode was, wow, I think I've watched a lot more horror films than I realized.
Well, now I got to give you a hard time too. because I listened back to yesterday's episode,
Uh-huh.
and you kept seeming to me, in a way, wanting to throw in almost any 80s horror into a slasher category, and that's not true at all. Because like we were talking about Poltergeist, and Poltergeist is not a horror film. I mean, not a slasher film whatsoever.
That's paranormal.
Right. That would fall more into the
Did we throw
paranormal.
that into supernatural category?
Right. Yeah.
Should we say paranormal or should we say supernatural?
I think actually paranormal is probably a better term than supernatural, but
I'm making a
I think
note.
they both fit.
yeah, they both fit. But I don't know. I kind of like the title of paranormal.
You like the word paranormal better.
Yeah.
So where would you put like The Conjuring and stuff?
I'd say that's paranormal.
Yeah.
I'll go
Okay.
with that because I haven't seen The Conjuring. So.
I haven't seen The Conjuring, but Annabelle is in that
Universe.
umbrella universe. That's the word. I kept saying that yesterday. Dad and I were talking about that yesterday, and I just kept saying umbrella because I couldn't think of the word universe.
Umbrella works. That works too.
But yeah, Annabelle is in the Conjuring universe, and I've seen that one.
Okay.
Which I wasn't happy at the time, but it was a good movie.
We'll get back to those because today we're supposed to be talking because I went to the movies with my wonderful, beautiful wife to go see Halloween Kills.
And I am dying to find out what you thought of Halloween Kills.
All right, we'll get into that. But so that's really to kind of kick us off. So Halloween Kills, and this really is like a whole Halloween episode, isn't it? The franchise really is what we're doing here. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So how do we want to do this? Do we want to do this? Give it our rating, out of Michael Myers masks.
No, I was going to say, let's go butcher knives.
Oh, okay. After seeing this one, yeah, absolutely. All right. Who wants to go first?
Steven, go ahead. I want to hear what yours is. I'm dying.
Okay, so here we go. All right, Halloween Kills. I've seen Halloween, the first one, ages ago. I have not seen the second one, the third one.
Or the many others.
And what's interesting is I had not seen the one that came out a couple of years ago, Halloween.
Oh, hey, I need to make a clarification on that.
Yeah, sure.
Last week's episode, I kept saying 2017. It was 2018. And as I kept listening to it back, it was driving me nuts that I kept saying 2017. It's not 2017. So to Michael of the past, you're an idiot. It's 2018.
Well, I had not seen that one, and I was surprised that we're going back to right after that finished. I mean, this was right after that films when this takes place. So I like the intro where it did a little back to the 1970s kind of format for the opening. I enjoyed that. It was a lot more violent than I thought it would be. By golly. I could go to sleep that night, so that's good. So it didn't bother me that much, kind of a thing. I thought the film did an incredible job of making me care for the characters that ended up getting killed. And I was like, that was rough. I think the film fell flat at the end. I do. I was invested kind of in the whole thing. And I thought it got a little preachy. At first, I liked there was a theme in the film that we can talk about that I really enjoyed. I like this whole thing about how we can all become monsters is how I took it. And I really like that. But then it just kind of like it was a weird ending. And then the more I thought about it after the movie, the more I realized, it's the middle of a trilogy. And it's really setting up for the next one. And I'm going to let everybody know, if you're going to go see Jamie Lee Curtis, you're going to be disappointed. And I was disappointed because I thought the film revolved around her the way they did it, and it wasn't. It was really kind of weird. So I thought it had some good, clever kills in it.
Yeah, there was a couple I was like, oh, I've never seen that before.
Right. And then there's a part of the ending that I don't want to talk about yet, but we will,
Sure.
that really bothered me. It changed my attitude about the film. In other words, it did something, and whether that's what the filmmakers wanted, fine. But as a moviegoer, I was like, it's not why I watch movies. And you know me, I know it's Michael Myers, and it wasn't Michael Myers always comes back somehow, whatever. But when the good guys don't win somehow, some way that's definitive, like in the case, they escaped or they didn't, or so whatever. And we can talk about the ending a little bit. I didn't like that. So I give it 3 out of 5 butcher knives. 3 out of 5 butcher knives.
Okay.
That's my review. We can talk more about it, but hopefully that gives a pretty good summation. And this is coming from a guy who does not like horror movies.
Sure.
But I gave it a shot because we had a great podcast last week about it. And I appreciated you kind of explaining it, taking time. I was like, okay, because I had not planned on watching it.
I know you didn't. In fact, I was surprised when you texted me and told me you were going to see it. So,
right. And
all right.
Kelly was really supportive about it. And so, why don't we, go see it. You're doing the podcast on it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay.
So she pushed you into it.
Look, I follow my wife. Whatever she wants to do, gotcha.
I understand. All right. So since Megan's our guest, I'm going to let her go second, and then I'll give my rating last.
Okay.
So out of butcher knives, out of 1 to 5 butcher knives, 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. What do you think, Megan?
I really liked it.
Okay.
There was parts that pissed me off, but that's all horror movies.
Everybody, this is PG. It's a PG show now. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Megan. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I love horror movies, but there's things that piss me off that are very trope, and especially with us knowing there's going to be another movie, it pushed that harder, that I was just like, I don't like this, but I know why it's happening.
Okay. I like that. All right.
So with that in mind, I would say it's a solid 4. Because I can't give it a 5 because I was mad.
You want to, and you so want to give it a 5. That's great.
I completely get that. So, first of all, I'm going to start off with the original Halloween, 1978, is my all-time favorite. And
of the franchise.
Of the franchise, it gets a 5. It gets a 5 easily. And since we've never rated the 2018 one, I would actually give 2018 a 4. Okay. This one, I am going to go 3 3/4 butcher knife on. I liked it. I'm not saying that's still not a bad rating.
Okay.
I thought it was an enjoyable Halloween movie. I liked it. I loved Michael Myers in it. I usually do. I thought he was great. There were some things, like Megan said, that, and like you said, being the middle movie of the trilogy, it was like, yeah, okay, we already know this. We know this. So, and it was kind of annoying, and I guess there's not a lot of way around that. What's
interesting is when you say, this, and I'm not part of the franchise, I didn't pick up on that. So that's interesting, where I thought, ooh, there's an interesting mythos around this,
Well, but I'm talking about the fact that, well, I don't want to get into it too much. We'll analyze the film some more. But,
sure.
There was just points of it as like, yeah, okay, just get on with it, because we already know that's not going to happen. Come on, people, So with that, I thought that was a little frustrating. and the end was a very, very trope, especially for a Halloween movie. I will go with Megan on that. So the end wasn't the best, but like you said, it's a middle of a trilogy movie. It kind of had to happen. I get it. But I'm not sure I like the way they did it. You know what I mean?
Okay, good. Good. We're going to have some good discussions today.
So,
excellent.
It looks like Megan had something to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to sneak it up. There was one thing at the end that I was surprised by, because I didn't think it was going to happen. Like, I figured it might happen, but I figured if it was going to be in the last movie. But I can go into them more when you get the spoiler.
Okay.
Warning up.
So yeah, that's a good point. So going forward, this is a spoilerific episode. So if you have not seen Halloween Kills and you want to see Halloween Kills and you do not want any spoilers, then turn off the podcast, go see the movie. The movie is available in theaters. It's also available on Peacock, so you can watch it streaming if you want.
Is it really?
Yep, it is on Peacock. No, we went to the theater.
You went to the theater.
Yeah. In fact, we drove to Edwardsville to go see this one. So
20, 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, it was about a 30-minute drive. So yeah,
It was worth it.
yeah, the theaters. I liked the theater. It was nice.
The audience, not so much.
Yeah, the crowd wasn't as good as the crowd we got for the 2018 crowd. I was disappointed. And we talked about that in the last episode, the fact that some horror films are a group experience, a group activity.
I was forward to, yeah, because we went to the first showing. Go ahead.
Okay. And the 2018 crowd that we saw it with, they were really into it, and there were the screams when certain kills happen, screams when certain jump screams or jump
scares,
jump scares would happen.
There were some good ones in this one,
and we didn't get a lot of that in this one, so it kind of hindered my enjoyment of this a little bit. And it's sad that hurts the film, but unfortunately it does just a little bit. So part of my enjoyment could be I didn't feel we were with a good crowd. You know what I mean?
Would you give it
on
another chance at Marcus?
Oh, at Marcus Theater. Would you go again?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd pay for this one again. I mean, I'll pay for it to buy it, so I have it for the collection. I don't know if I'll pay for it to go see it in the theater again, though. Yeah, I think once was enough, as far as seeing it in the theater. I do want to see it again. Just, yeah, the next one is I watch it at home and I analyze it more at home. So,
do you think, let me ask you this, as far as, because I do want to talk about theater experience and audience, because I went in with that kind of expectation.
Did you see Megan's face when I said, no, I don't think I'd pay to go see it in the theater again?
Yeah, but I wasn't going to say anything.
Now, of course, if Megan wants to go pay for us to go see it in the theater again, maybe we'll do that.
She pays. Okay.
Sure.
So here's the thing.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. Sorry. When I went for the audience experience, we had a positive experience, and then after a while, we did not have a positive audience experience to a certain degree. Ooh. There was this guy that things would get really tense and quiet, kind of a thing, and there's a guy in the front row that would go, it was kind of funny. Everyone was quiet, then he would do that, and the first couple of times it was like, it's kind of funny. Afterwards, even at the end, it was so annoying, kind of a thing.
You're like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, it really was. And you could hear everybody was complaining about it as everybody was leaving, kind of a thing. So,
right. Gotcha.
But there were some good jump scares in it that Kelly even was like, kind of thing. So that was fun.
But see, that makes it fun.
It does, but it wasn't overall. We got some, overall, but it wasn't as like my best theater experience was when I saw Last Jedi. Because people were really engaged and we were there. It was a special showing for Star Wars fans is how they did it. And so we were able to get into that. You had to pay a little bit extra, but you got extra, you got some free gifts and stuff. It was fun.
Right.
So everybody there was really a Star Wars fan and it was good. That was the biggest. And when Yoda showed up on the screen, everyone was like, yeah, kind of a thing.
Right.
All right. So, but yeah, it was interesting. And I just wasn't as big as I thought it would be. And now here's my question. Is that because it's better or worse than 2018 version? Is that why there's probably not as good audience participation or interaction? Excuse me, interaction, not participation, but interaction.
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. In overall, I think 2018 is a better film than this one, but okay. I'm going to have to judge this kind of the same way I was trying to judge the Star Wars sequels. I didn't want to judge the Star Wars sequels as just one film. I wanted to judge it as an overall story to finish it off. And I'm kind of looking at Halloween the same way.
Okay.
Because there was a slight disappointment to this one. Not to say I didn't like it, because I did enjoy the film. But I just didn't enjoy it as much as 2018. So my hope is that with the release of Halloween Ends, and we get the full picture, the full story, I'm gonna like it better as an overall whole story. With all three films together.
And that's where I disagree with you. See, I think each film should be its own entity. You shouldn't go to a second movie. Then why would I ever go to a second movie in a trilogy when it's just going to be whatever? If you don't give me any kind of good resolution.
Oh, I'm going to push back on you because the second film of the Superman technically was 4 films and the fourth one sucked, but I would argue Superman 2 is the best of the Christopher Reeve series. I would argue, it's awesome. And so if we get rid of that abomination of Superman 4 and we make it a trilogy, it's the middle movie.
Here's my point. Here's
hold on. Slow your roll, pal. So then we move on to the original Star Wars. And the second movie is The Empire Strikes Back, which is the greatest Star Wars movie of all time. And it is nowhere near a bad film. So I poo-poo on your theory.
All right, let me make a clarification. Superman 2, in its own right, was its own film. It was not meant to coincide to go into a third film. I will give you the fact that, yes, Empire Strikes Back was part of a trilogy to take you into the third film. But that's why I did not like Empire Strikes Back. It was
and that's why you're wrong.
Well, okay. Yes, and you're wrong.
yes, you said it. You're wrong.
I said you're wrong. No, here's the deal. I love how we can disagree on things, but that's my point. That's why I don't like trilogies, because you, like with Halloween Kills, you set up for another film. I just paid you money for an encapsulated story that should have an overarching for 3 films, but that's why I felt like it fell flat at the end, because I was like, what, wait a minute. It's kind of like you just robbed me. If you were going to give me a whole movie experience, give me a whole movie experience. It's the same with The Matrix. The second Matrix movie did the same thing, and I hated it. It had some good stuff in it.
Well, that's because it's Matrix, though.
But even the second and third movies were. Even the third movie was kind of so. It was kind of weird.
Again, that's because it was Matrix,
right? But it was still the thing of if you're going to do a sequel. I don't know if this is a sequelitis thing, kind of where the second in a quote unquote trilogy is meant to be. But I don't. That's just me, and that's just my personal opinion. I don't like that. You need to give me a full fleshed out story within umbrella of 3 films. That's fine. But don't just give me a movie that well, we're just setting up for the third. Well, you just won. You just wasted my time, and then you just stole money from me. So no. It's a good thing I didn't buy extra popcorn this time. Wasted even another $30.
Wow. I think you're a little harsh on this one.
I'm just harsh on the concept, not the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
And all.
I don't have a problem with trilogies. I just don't. I think this movie particular fell a little flat. That's all I'm going to say. But again, I still don't think it's a bad movie. I think it just fell just a little bit flat. And so, but all right, let's talk a little bit about the history of Halloween.
Okay, I'm down for that.
And then we'll get more back into Halloween Kills.
So give us good background for the rest of the conversation. Absolutely,
right.
Go for it.
So the original Halloween came out in 1978, directed by John Carpenter, who is a horror master in his own right. John Carpenter has directed not only Halloween, but he's directed Christine, which was a great movie.
Oh, I didn't know he did that one.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep, he did Christine. He did The Fog. A lot of people may not remember The Fog. I thought The Fog was a pretty intense film, actually. He did The Thing. He did the remake of The Thing in the 80s, which is great because there is a
tie-in.
There's a tie-in in the original Halloween.
The Kurt Russell,
Do
the
what?
Thing.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell's The Thing.
Right. Yep.
John Carpenter did that one.
Yep. John Carpenter did that one. And
Makes sense.
when you watch the 1978 Halloween, when the kids are watching the movie they're watching the original Thing, which I thought was awesome. And that was actually before John Carpenter did his Thing. So I think that was John Carpenter's way of saying, this is what I want to do next, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my own input. I don't know that's what Carpenter was doing, but I imagine that's what he was doing. Okay. So you have the 1978, one of the classic, movie trivias that I love is about the Michael Myers mask. Because the Michael Myers mask, for anyone who does not know this, is actually a Captain Kirk mask, which is fantastic. I love it.
I didn't know until you played that clip for pre-show. So
I got a clip to play here in a second. But I also, with the research for this film, I found out a little bit more about the mask that I didn't know. And we're going to get into that in just a second.
Oh, good. Okay.
But so anyway, so that original mask was a William Shatner Captain Kirk mask, and John Carpenter has been in the movie industry. He kind of has a name for keeping his movies very low budget. Okay. And that's part of the reason. Okay. He just says to one of his guys on the set, I need you to run down to the Halloween store or whatever and pick up some kind of mask. We need a mask for this guy. And so the guy went down there, and from what I understand, he picked up a Spock mask and he picked up a William Shatner mask. And then what they did was they took and shaved the eyebrows off of it, cut the eye holes bigger, painted it white, and then changed the hair of it, and voila, they have Michael Myers. So let's hear it from the master himself. I've got a clip.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Well, when we were making the film, I thought, gee, it's Halloween at night, and people get dressed up in masks. What better way to have a killer not be identified than be wearing a mask? And we didn't have any money to make a mask, so my production designer, Tommy Lee Wallace, went up to a magic shop right here on Hollywood Boulevard and bought a William Shatner Star Trek mask, Captain Kirk mask. Spray painted it, cut the eye holes a little bit different, fixed the hair, and there we go.
So that's John Carpenter, the master himself, talking about the origin of the Michael Myers mask. So, and then, like I said, with the research I was doing with this for this podcast, I found out a little bit more that I didn't know. I thought was really interesting. In fact, a coworker brought this up to me and said that William Shatner had also been talking about the mask, and that he didn't know that the mask used in the Halloween movie was his face till years later or something. And then I had another coworker tell me another story that the mask actually came from a life cast of William Shatner. And my thought was, well, no, that's not correct, because I've heard John Carpenter himself say that the guy just went and picked it up at a store. Well, I found a very recent, well, actually in the last couple days, a clip from William Shatner himself talking about the mask, and I have that one right here.
And I know you've talked about it before. The Michael Myers mask, the Halloween mask, of course, modeled after Captain Kirk. Do you remember the first moment someone told you that? Do you remember the first moment someone said, "Hey, do you know the Halloween mask is you"?
Well, just what you said is in all probability what somebody said to me. I don't remember the exact moment, but I thought, is that a joke? Are they kidding? And then I don't think I saw the movie, but I saw the mask probably in a picture, and I recognized it as the death mask that they had made for me. They made a mask of my face on Star Trek with clay so that I wouldn't have to be available for the prosthetics that they would put on my face to look old or evil or whatever it was that they were making me look like. So that mask existed in Star Trek. So somewhere along the line, somebody got that mask and made a mask of it for Halloween. And then the story is, get me a mask, said the director. So the guy ran into this Halloween store and grabbed this mask, and it happened to be of me. That's the story I know. How true it is, I don't know.
So that's coming right from William Shatner's mouth, and that's part of the legend I've never heard before. I didn't know anything about it being from a life cast of his face, which I thought was awesome. I'm like, wow, that just adds to the legend. I love it. And I also love in the clip William Shatner talking, and he pretty much sounds like he doesn't even know who John Carpenter is. It's like, wow, two legends, and we know John Carpenter knows who William Shatner is, of course, but I find it funny that it just struck me, it sounds like William Shatner doesn't even know who John Carpenter is. That's awesome. Anyway,
that's his face, or it was a mold from a mold, or
right.
whatever
right.
Kind of thing. Someone got a hold of it and said, "Oh, this would be great let's sell some Star Trek masks."
Right, exactly. So,
how fascinating is that? Huh.
So, yeah, good history on the Michael Myers mask. So, but yeah, so we have the 1978 Halloween, which again, I that's my top. That is my top. 2018 I thought was great, and I there was some slight little remakes in it, but the interesting thing about the 2018 Halloween is that technically it erases everything after the 1978 Halloween. So all the Halloweens of the 80s and 2000s, or 80s, 90s, and 2000s,
right,
according to the new lore, do not exist. They don't exist at all. And there's a reason behind that. So the director of the current Halloween series, when he was asked to direct this, his first thought was, I'm not doing this without John Carpenter. I have to have John. If John's not on board on this, I won't do it. So he went to John's house and sat down with John, talked to him, and he said, look, we can either do this thing and we can do it our way, or we cannot, and they're going to do it anyway and do it whatever way they want. He says, so I think we need to take this project on, and we need to carry on your legacy, and we need to do it our way, which I thought was great, because John has said in the past that he hates Halloween 2. In fact, I've got a clip here. He calls it an abomination, which is funny because Halloween 2 came out, the big thing that John doesn't like is the fact that they made Lori his sister, actually. Which I gotta admit, I hate that. I think that's weird. It doesn't make any sense. We've seen in the original she wasn't his sister, that she wasn't related to him. It just doesn't make sense. So I do agree with him on that. But it is funny because within the Halloween fandom, Halloween 2 ranks pretty high. A lot of fans really like the film because, one, it is a direct sequel from the first one, which is what happens between this Halloween Kills and 2018. They're both a direct sequel off of, Halloween Kills is a direct sequel off of 2018, and it's actually a direct sequel off of the original 1978 because we have some flashbacks to the 1978 film. In fact, Dr. Loomis even made an appearance in it, which I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I like that. But anyway, so then there was the Halloween 3, the Season of the Witch.
Right.
Which, with most Halloween fans, and I will say most because apparently there is a growing cult following to Halloween 3 that I didn't realize. But with most fans do not like Halloween 3 because it doesn't have Michael Myers in it.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the Halloween franchise. But John Carpenter, he looks at it differently. So let's listen to this last clip I got with John Carpenter.
What about the subsequent Halloween films? Once you had done Halloween, were you at all tempted to say, no more Halloween?
Well, I said that for quite a while. And there are two sides to one when you work in the movie business. One is as an artist, or you think of yourself as a creative person, and the other side is a business person. And I let my producer side come out when they offered me the sequels to Halloween. They offered a nice sum of money, and I also had a lot of hope for giving new directors a chance to make films as I had been given a chance with low-budget films. And the directors who did 2 and 3, Rick Rosenthal and Tommy Wallace, what they were given was a budget, and in some cases a script, and, okay, here are the rules of the game, make your movie. Nobody's going to bother you. It doesn't always work. I thought Halloween 3 was excellent. I really like that film because it's different. It has a real nice feel to it. I think he's a talented director. On the other hand, I think Halloween 2 is an abomination and a horrible movie. I was really disappointed in it. And but I don't think the director has gone on and done some other films. I think his career is launched now. But I don't think he had a feel for the material. I think that's the problem. He didn't have a feeling for what was going on.
And that is vital.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's John talking about Halloween 2. Now, that is obviously an old, very old clip. That's from back... Man, I don't even know exactly when that I think that might have been back when he did Starman. I didn't mention that. John Carpenter was also Yep, he directed Starman also.
Good movie.
Yeah,
that's a really good movie.
Starman's a great movie, and I have a childhood memory of Starman. My mom, I went and seen Starman with my mom actually. Which is kind of funny because that's kind of a space movie, and that wasn't her thing. But yeah, I remember her going to see Starman, and I also always remember her misquoting, and I always liked her misquote better than the actual quote from the film.
Okay.
So Starman is driving the car, right? And Starman was Jeff Goldblum, right?
I thought it was Dennis Quaid.
No, I think it's Jeff. Is it Jeff Goldblum or?
Tell your story.
Anyway, Starman's learning because he's an alien from another planet. And he takes the form of a human being, and he's driving the car. He kind of becomes boyfriend. Jeff Bridges. Thank you, Jeff Bridges. See, we were both wrong. Anyway, so he kind of becomes the boyfriend to this woman. And he's learning to drive the car, and she's like, "Do you understand stoplights?" And he says, "Yes, I know stoplights. Red means stop. Green means go. Yellow means go very fast.
That's where that comes from.
But my mom always misquoted it, and she would always say, red means stop, green means go, yellow means go like hell.
I don't think you've ever told me the story of where that came from.
Yeah, that's where it came. Your grandmother said that, which is kind of funny because that's her saying go like hell is funny in itself, you know. So anyway, so yeah, Starman has a good childhood memory for me too. But so yeah, I think that interview was actually back when he did Starman. So that was an old interview, and I don't know if his views have changed. Well, actually, I don't think his views have changed. And I think Halloween Kills is proof that his views have not changed.
Sure.
Because there was an Easter egg in this film for Halloween 3. And even though I'm not a fan of Halloween 3, I was pretty excited about it. It was cool. So,
What was
you remember the first kid kill that we see?
The kids that pranked the two guys that were living in the Myers house.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Well, the first one we see, he's wearing a skeleton costume with a skull mask. That skull mask is directly one of the masks, is exactly one of the masks from Halloween 3. Because in Halloween 3, you have this company that's producing these masks, and these masks are, they're killing kids, is what they're doing. And there are 3 main masks. So there's a skeleton, and we got that one first. The second one that we saw was the pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern. And then the third one was the witch.
Mm-hmm.
So
and all reference the Halloween 3.
Yep. All of them were the identical masks from Halloween 3. Which I was like,
Halloween 3.
huh?
But he liked Halloween 3.
Yeah,
Yes.
he liked Halloween 3. So, and the other thing interesting about Carpenter is he writes pretty much all his own music too. So,
does he?
Yeah.
He did the theme?
Yep.
For the first one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
And
In
you
fact,
said
go ahead, Megan.
him and his son did the music for the most recent ones.
Yep. Him and his son collaborated to compose the music for the latest.
So this latest trilogy then.
Yep. And this is me thinking. This is nothing. I don't take this as gospel, but okay. I kind of wonder if he, obviously has a music background. He has a composer's background. I'm thinking that he started writing his own music just to save money because, he's known for that. He's known for not spending a lot of money on his productions. And what better way to save some money than, hey, why do I want to go hire a composer when I can compose this myself?
Right.
And then who better to compose their own movie than the director himself?
Okay. I have to interrupt for a second because I looked up John Carpenter because we're talking about John Carpenter. And I looked up his movies that he's done. And I'm going, oh, I've seen that.
Yeah.
So The Thing. They Live, which is like a cult classic.
They Live is one of my all-time
Fantastic.
favorite movies. I've come to chew bubblegum and to kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And I tell you what, that has been quoted in a whole bunch of stuff. Even in Games of Thrones, it was done. But it was, I came here to eat chickens, kind of a thing. I'm off the chicken.
Nice.
Kind of it was great.
Nice.
Big Trouble in Little China. Which
I
love. That's Kurt Russell one. Escape from New York. Kurt Russell.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, he's done some big films. He's
Starman.
Yep.
I see him on Starman and stuff. How fascinating. So anyway, okay, there's enough of that. So I had another question and I just lost it. Dadgummit. I hate getting older. Let's go back to the mask for a second. That's what it was.
Okay.
We're talking about the mask earlier. Did you like what they did about the mask near the end of the film? At the end of the film, where it got taken off and the one daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter, had it and took it off and said, "Come and get it." Kind of.
You want your mask? Come and get it. Yeah.
Right. What, did you guys like that? Did you because of the lore of the mask, and you've never seen his face, kind of a thing. What did you think
This
about
is actually a good intro for some things I wanted to talk about, but we'll let Megan answer first.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts, Megan.
I liked it. I liked how she lured him. We also still didn't really get a clear view of his face without the mask.
You're never going to.
Okay.
I did got glimpses, though. I agree with you. We had glimpses of, look at that gray stubble. He's old.
Yeah. Well, he is old. Yeah. Well, you got to remember, he is the boogeyman. He's known as the Shade. Those are his nicknames throughout the film.
The boogeyman, but I hadn't heard the Shade. I didn't hear Shade.
Yeah, Shade is a legendary name for Michael Myers, and the reason is because he's basically shadows people. So he's the Shade, He sneaks up on people, and you have no idea he's there until boom, he's there. So yeah, he's known as the Shade. He's known as. Yeah, I like that. I like that little nickname. It's one that's not used a lot, but
they did say boogeyman a couple of times in
boogeyman. They overused.
Yeah,
I will say that. Yeah, they used it quite a bit, but it did help solidify for me. Like, dude, that pitchfork in the back, you should be dead.
Okay, Megan, go for it. Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
This would be one of the things that I was talking about that really annoys me, because it's a trope to keep the movie going. When she stabbed him in the back with a pitchfork, I was sitting there going, "Okay, now take it and cut his head off with it." Like that's the next move.
Don't just leave it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned on the way home, like, I could understand if they gave us a reason why she didn't do that. Like, if the pitchfork broke, it would make more sense of why she didn't even try that, opposed to just, okay, well, he's down, and he has a history with coming back up, so let's just leave him like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he's got like 20 movies where he comes back. So.
Right.
Megan, I will agree. I like the way you said it's a trope, because remember last week's episode, Mike, we were laughing about, let's run towards the chainsaw.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And
why don't we get in the running car? Nah.
Over here. Yeah. It was. You're absolutely right, because even I thought in the movie, I'm like, no. He's down. You kicked him in the head. How come you're not still kicking him while he's down? Kind of a thing.
Exactly.
I mean, we sort of get that later.
Look,
but they still leave him and don't do anything definitive.
I would have had a 9mm, and I would have been emptying the magazine in his head.
Right.
I go back to the zombie, the zombie apocalypse, and the two-tap theory. You got to tap them twice, otherwise, they're not dead.
I've only seen the original. I haven't seen any of the sequels besides 2018 and this one.
Okay.
So I don't know if they've done it, but I my thought would automatically be go either like because like zombie rat and vampire both have beheading completely stops from coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also why I said take the pitchfork, cut his head off.
That's the only way you can kill Wolverine. Cut his head off.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't do that with Deadpool, but...
Nope, because he can regrow.
Yeah, I hate that.
Well, here's the thing about... This is why I think they overused Boogeyman.
Well, wait a minute. Before you get into that, let's continue a little bit on the mask and the removing of the mask.
Sure.
I actually liked it. I loved it, actually. I was looking forward to it because they did kind of give that away in the commercial, because in the commercial you hear, although I thought it was Lori saying it wasn't Lori, though, it was her daughter, and she grabs the mask, pulls it off his face, which actually has happened in other Halloween movies.
Well, in the original.
Yes, the original, it happened. Lori did get a hold of the mask. She did pull it off. We didn't see his face at all, though.
And she talks about that in the movie, Lori.
Yeah. Yep. So we've got the original where she pulls off his mask. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, they pulled off the mask. The Rob Zombie, both Halloween 1 and 2, they actually pulled off the mask.
I have seen the first one of that, too.
Right. So yeah, it's happened before, and every time it's happened, you just get glimpses and you get blurred looks, and which I'm okay with, because it keeps with the lore of Michael Myers. It holds the suspense and everything. So I'm actually fine with it. But it is kind of exhilarating when they get the mask off. It's almost a moment of victory that they get. So I like it. Now, I don't want it to happen in every single film. Like, I mean, if it happens in the next one, it should happen at the end and they chop his head off like we were just talking.
I really think that's the way to go.
All right. So now we can move on to the boogeyman.
No, all I was saying was just as Meg was talking about the pitchfork, or we, the whole pitchfork in the back, or just saying how it's a trope and blah, blah, blah. There's several things that we saw at the end of the film that should have, like, you should be dead. You should be dead.
He should have been dead in the beginning, if you want to go that route.
Yeah, technically, he should have died in Lori's home, in her house. Mm-hmm. He should have burned to death, truth be told. But there is something about Michael Myers. And I think we're going to find a little bit more in the end about why he hasn't died. And there's been things in the whole Halloween Michael Myers lore in the past. Apparently in Halloween 6, there was this whole ritual that some kind of Egyptian ritual that they put him through, that he couldn't die and all this stuff. So they gave a reason why he couldn't die. Granted, that's written away with 2018. So I don't know where they're going with it at this moment, but obviously there's something that keeps him from dying, because that's what we get at the end of this film, So, like we said, he should have died in Lori's home, but he didn't, and then he kills all the firemen. Which actually is some fantastic scenes.
I was like, holy cow.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, when that one fireman, when he's reaching down, telling the other one to give him his hand, I'm sitting there going, no. Don't do that. No, you're dead. You're going to die. And Sure enough, Michael pulls him down. And, yep, you're dead. Yeah. Granted, he didn't know, He didn't know what was down there.
That's the whole part of these slasher films, those kinds of things. Don't go around the corner. Don't do it.
Okay, but here's the thing. So you're in Haddonfield, Illinois. All right? This story is legendary. Come on. Although we did get the what was it, Tommy?
Yes.
Was it Tommy? Tommy was telling the story in the bar.
Yes, Tommy was the one.
And then there were people in the bar who knew the story.
Michael Hall.
What's that?
That was Anthony Michael Hall, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, you're right. That was Anthony Michael Hall.
16 Candles and some of those,
some great 80s films, by the way. Yeah.
Right.
He
was in Stephen King. He was in the TV show. He was Graveyard. Was it Graveyard Shift? No, not Graveyard Shift. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, he was Goose in Top Gun. Right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Michael Anthony Hall was Goose in Top Gun. I'm pretty sure. Go ahead, fact check me.
No, not the fact check. I'm just like, I've got it.
No, you're fact checking me. That's okay.
Dead Zone. Dead Zone was the Stephen King TV series that ran for 5 years. So that's that one. Okay, I'm looking at his movies.
I really want to say that's who it is.
All right. Well, shoot. Okay, now I got to do this. Now I got to go to Top Gun.
Yeah, just go to Top Gun. That's what I would have done.
I want to see Anthony Michael. His Dead Zone was the one I was trying to get to.
You go to Top Gun. You'll find Goose and
Anthony Edwards.
Oh, Anthony Edwards.
Who was in the show ER, right?
And Anthony. Okay, and he was also in Revenge of the Nerds. Revenge of the Nerds too.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Okay, I got those confused, but regardless, still iconic '80s actor. Regardless.
So he was given the whole story and the lore when he was doing the whole stand up,
and a lot of people, there was a lot of people in the bar that knew the story. There's a lot that didn't. So you would think, being firemen at Haddonfield, Illinois, they would know the story of Michael Meyer. They would know who Laurie Strode is, and they would know where she lives. So they would know this is Laurie Strode's house. It's on fire.
Something happened.
It's got to be him. Stay the hell away from it.
Right.
And Laurie, they're driving her to the hospital as the fire trucks are heading to her house, and Laurie's going, "Let it burn! Let it burn!"
Right. What was interesting was that it was at that moment that I realized, oh, this is taking place right after the 2018 film.
Yeah, you probably should have watched the 2018 film before you went and seen this, but it's whatever.
Hey, look, you were lucky to get me there to see this one.
I know. Again, I was shocked. I was totally shocked.
So I have some other questions, but I didn't want to. I didn't know if you had any of your thoughts you needed to finish up with that one.
No, I'm good. Go.
Okay, so I want to go to the end. Can I go to the end for a second?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. There is the scene that I also like, the scene with the couple in the Michael Meyer house.
Yeah,
that was.
Okay. Yeah, the two guys. Yes.
The two guys that moved into Michael Myers' house. There's part of me that, in a way, just slightly. Okay, I don't wish ill will towards any of Michael's victims, but there was part of me that went, yeah, they kind of deserved that.
Well, at first I felt sorry for him when the kids punked.
Yeah, I did too. When you got the kids, pranking them, and it's like, it gets to a certain time at night at Halloween, and it's like, all right, cut it out. This is not funny anymore. Stop it. I get that. I do get that. But when you're spending all your time running around going, we live in Michael Myers' house, and it's like, yeah, you kind of deserve this.
So I just have to laugh about one thing real quick. So we looked at the furnishings inside that house, and I'm like, man, they fixed up that house because it is nice inside.
Megan, what did I say that Michael said when he killed him?
I don't remember.
I said he looked at him and went, "I like what you've done to the place."
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, they did make it really nice.
It was really nice on the inside. I was like, oh, too bad. Kind of, you knew they were going to get killed. Now, that does speak to one thing about this film that I did enjoy that I mentioned earlier, was they really got you to care about the characters somehow, some way, some kind of pull before they killed them.
Sure, I agree.
And it got to the point where it's like, oh, you're dead. Here, I feel something for you. You're going to get it by the end. That's how. By the time we got halfway to the end of the film, I was like, yeah, all these people are going to die. But I was surprised at the very end of who all they did kill off.
Yeah,
I was too.
And how quickly and without really this is where the exposition at the end. I don't like exposition in films, period. Don't give me exposition at the beginning, which usually happens a lot. If there's exposition at the beginning of the film, you are in trouble for the rest of the film.
Okay, explain what you mean by exposition.
You've got somebody, you see stuff going on, and somebody's talking in the background to everybody to explain what's going on.
Okay.
So you remember, okay, let's talk about the beginning of Dune. This is a great example. The beginning of Dune. I know you fell asleep in Dune, but you saw the very
I've fallen
beginning.
asleep like 3 times.
Right. So here's the dealioso with this is that they had to explain. Poor David Lynch, when making Dune, had to say, well, this is a complicated story, so I'm going to have to give someone to let everybody know kind of what's going on at the beginning of the film, so they can kind of garner.
Oh, yeah, when he's talking about the spice and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
spice, all that kind of
right.
stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
So anytime you do that, that means it's going to be a confusing film. And this is the thing with authors, where authors, when writing books, they do this big thing about show, don't tell. Show the reader what's happening, what's going on. It gets them.
Now
engaged.
you got Rush running through my head. Show me, don't tell me. Sorry.
No, it's good.
It's a good song too.
Anytime you have that, it's exposition. You're like, oh, great. Okay, here we go. And I enjoyed the fact that in the film, you're helping me come to the realization of you're telling a story within it that, we as people can be just as bad monsters as Michael Myers. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Megan. I saw that you were going to say, go for it.
Yeah, when that when they said a line to that caliber, I commented and I said it's very Monsters on Mulberry Street, because that's pretty much exactly what happens in that episode of Twilight Zone. And I think it was an original story before that.
It probably was. Most likely
For Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
Because that's what I was, because I actually, it was in a school book for my 8th grade year, I think. And we actually got to watch the episode, and I got so excited because we were watching Twilight Zone. But that is one of my favorite episodes. And that line, I was just like, yes, Monsters on Mulberry Street. That is what you're doing.
So to give you a little background, Megan has been exposed to Twilight Zone since she was a baby.
I adore that show.
We pretty much, last several years we haven't done it as much, but we used to watch Twilight Zone every New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, because they have a marathon on Sci-Fi where
Sippy.
Siffy now, where they show nothing but Twilight Zone for the entire New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And we've, for the most part, since she was a baby, watched Twilight Zone every year. So she knows a lot of the Twilight Zone episodes, and we as a family are big fans of Twilight Zone. So I was pretty proud of her last night when she said, "Dad, that reminded me of Monsters on Mulberry Street," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's a proud dad moment there."
Well, it's also always been one of my favorite episodes.
No, that's a good episode. I agree with you.
Well, I think for me, then, okay, you got me to see it, and you got me to kind of engage in that part of the film, blah, 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 blah. But then at the end, they started doing the exposition. I'm like, no, you're not going to end the movie with the exposition, because that means you're not going to end it well. And they didn't, because, it's all about fear, and fear gives Michael power. And right when they say that is when, which I love the whole mob mentality concept. I thought that was great. That was
they were insane, man.
It was one of the best parts of the film, and I enjoyed it. But then it got preachy about it there at the end. And they're like, he's down for the count. Let's see what happens. And then all of a sudden, he gets back up.
Well, now, okay, as far as it going preachy, I did like the fact that they did pull it away from Laurie. Because we've always looked at this as he's after Laurie. And they solidified, no, actually he's not. I mean, he is, but he's after everyone. He's not just after Lori. He is after everyone. So in that aspect where you're saying they're getting preachy, I mean, and I get what you're saying, and I agree with you to a certain extent, but I did like that they pulled the lore out a little bit more, you know. So it wasn't just Lori; it's now everyone that lives in Haddonfield. You are a target of Michael Myers. It's not just you're getting in their way; you're getting in his way so he can get to Lori. No, you are a target too. Everyone is. No one is safe whatsoever. So I like that addition to the lore, but no, I get what you're saying.
Perspective, though, I like that. I do like that. I do like where you put that. I still don't like the exposition, but I don't care if you. I like the fact that if you show it to me, let me figure it out. Let me take the journey with you as a filmmaker. Don't start telling me stuff. Because here's what happened. Then when Michael Myers got back up, it was like, what do you call that in video games? What do you call that? You
Reset?
You get the invincibility pill or whatever, or something. And all of a sudden, it was like, you know, it was like, boop, boop, boop. I mean, he was just like, doop, doop, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. But it was all done within the exposition. So I'm like, no. Let me experience what's happening. It took me away from it. It was like just thrown in that, well, all of a sudden, let's just get him to back up so we can hurry up and go to the next film or get the next film ready. That he gets back up after being shot and stabbed and beat with a bat and all this kind of stuff. And then all those people who participated in that, it was one shot, one kills kind of a thing, you know, like video games. It's like, boop, you're dead, boop, you're dead, boop, you're dead, boop, I'm like, you just took away from the fun of I've had in the film of, hey, you got pretty creative with some of those kills by, you know.
Hey, Megan, he just said that the movie was fun.
The fun part of the films with the creative.
You're starting to get the feel and taste of horror films.
It's like
slasher films.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead, Megan. I'm sorry.
Enjoying horror is almost to the same caliber as enjoying haunted houses.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I like
now,
that.
I did enjoy the jump scares. That first jump scare where it's back in 1978. He's looking out. The one guy's looking out of Michael Myers' window.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the lore of that. There was something about that intrigued me. Well, yeah, why was he looking out of the window? You know, kind of a thing.
And then we got a George Lucas rhymes moment with the daughter. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
All right, everybody. There's our drinking game. He said it again, so you can take a drink. He does it every episode.
I gotta find a way to get in every episode.
But I liked how he came out of nowhere all of a sudden. That was probably the best jump scare of the whole film.
That was cool.
It was really good. So anyway, okay. So now you got me. Oh yeah. You were talking about, Megan, you were saying how appreciating that with haunted houses, and then my brain went to jump scares and haunted houses. Okay.
Exactly.
How else does it connect with haunted houses?
I think go ahead.
I think that's the biggest connection is you go to a haunted house to get scared. And for those of us that enjoy it, we enjoy that. Or you can be like Dad and try to scare other people the entire way through.
I do that.
or you can be me who just because while I enjoy like getting jump scared in real life, I also enjoy kind of being able to see where they would pop out and to be able to not be afraid of that and then just give them like fun reactions and just I like seeing how scare actors respond to that, to not being afraid in character.
You get that from me though, because you come from, okay, we used to do a haunted house when she was little. We did our own haunted house here. Stephen, I'm pretty sure you experienced our haunted houses.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what we would do is we would decorate our garage, and then we put canopies out in front of the garage to extend it out. and we decorated out there. We would have Megan's grandmother. She would stand at the end of the driveway, and kids would walk up, and they would walk up to her and go, trick or treat. And she goes, no, you have to go in there, and point them towards the garage. And they're like, what? Yeah, if you want your candy, that's where you got to go. And they're like, okay. So then they have to go in. Anyway, so once they got into the garage, Megan's grandfather, who's passed away, he used to sit at a table. He didn't wear a costume or anything, because he was all gray, which I'm all gray now. I wasn't so gray back then. But anyway, and we have a black light over him, and he would look like he's moldy green because his gray hair would be.
Heard that.
You know,
Uh-huh.
and the man was covered in hair. So anyway, so he kind of looked a little scary himself, sitting there at the table, and the kids would be like, "Oh my gosh!" And then Roger, my brother-in-law, Megan's uncle, he would always dress up as Michael Myers, and he would stand behind his dad, and he had a board behind him, and he would always have a machete, and he would, when the kids would walk in, he would tap the board twice to let me know, okay, kids are in the garage. I was in the other corner inside of a coffin that we built, and I would change my costume every year. I've been everything from Freddy to Pinhead to
We still have that mask in the garage.
Yeah.
I think I missed the Pinhead year.
I've done all kinds of stuff. I would change it up. Anyway, so I would be in the coffin, and I would have controls to a smoke machine in the coffin. So he would tap it twice, let me know kids are in the garage. I would hit the smoke machine, set off the smoke. They'd come up. They'd say trick or treat. Don would give them their candy and everything, and then that's when Roger comes to life, and Roger smacks the board one more time. That's my cue to throw them up in the coffin, and the two of us chase them out of the garage. And oh my gosh, we had such a good time. It was so fun. And probably my favorite Halloween story,
mine too,
from that era was, so Megan's other uncle, Jason.
Oh, yeah, that one too.
We used to hang him in the tree in the front yard. So in the front yard, we would have
cemetery.
Yeah, it looked like cemetery. And I had another smoke machine out there, so you had smoke out in the cemetery, fog out in the cemetery and stuff. Which is funny because we actually do have a real cemetery behind our house. So it makes it a little creepier. But anyway, so what we would do with Jason was we would put him on a harness and hang him up in the tree, and we'd actually put a noose around his neck. Now the noose wasn't tied to anything in the tree, so don't anyone get concerned about that. We were worried, we were concerned about safety and made sure that nothing actually would happen to him had anything horrible happen. So, and it never did. So anyway, so Jason would be hanging there, and he would just slump down and hang like he's dead, like he's a dead body hanging from the tree.
He really had the limp look.
Oh yeah. So this mom and her kid had just finished with the garage, so they just got done getting this crap scared out of them by us. And then they're walking in front of the house, and the little kid goes, "Mom, look at that." And the mom goes, "Oh, it's not real. It's fake. Watch." And reaches over and touches Jason. And Jason goes, "Don't touch me." The mom about crapped her pants. It was so funny. So we used to do that. And we would go through haunted houses before Halloween to get ideas.
I don't think I was ever a part of that, though.
No, but you learn from us that we would analyze what's going on in the haunted house. Oh, how do they do that? Oh, how do they do that? How do they do that? And
I do get that from you guys.
Right, exactly. So yeah, you have this built-in ambition of how do you figure, wanting to figure out how they do things, because that's what we would do. So
I also got when I started liking going to haunted houses, I ended up adopting what Mom does. And if I'm
you mean hide behind me?
No. No, I do when I'm in front of people. If there's like, I will like narrate things. So I like if the terrain changes, I'll be like, "Hey, there's a steep drop. Be careful," to the people behind me, because it's no fun if you're tripping and stuff like that. So, but then I also have like a little dad mixed in, because if I can see somebody hiding, I will like barely wave so the actor knows I can see them, but I'm not going to do anything so they can scare the people behind me.
Well, and see, that's my respect of being one of them, because I want them to have the fun of scaring somebody. That's part of the fun of doing that. Otherwise, trust me, when you're doing it, there's an exhilaration when they get scared. There's that's part of the fun. So yeah, I want them to experience it, and plus I love to see the reactions of people when it happens.
People watching is fun.
And yes, I am an instigator. I go
Hit on
ahead.
walls.
I go ahead and I bang on walls, and I start going boo.
Six Flags
to people in line.
Or you take the carabiners, because we keep our Six Flags cups on carabiners, and run it across the textured metal walls.
Yeah, I'm an instigator. So
it's very humorous.
Anyway,
let me bring us back to the end, because I gotta get this out of me and stuff. I did not like the ending of the movie.
I gotta say I wasn't too thrilled with the ending either.
I agree.
And I was surprised that I thought, ooh, they're going to get back to the hospital and it's going to go down. That's what I thought was going to happen. And, that Michael Myers was going to show up at the hospital and stuff. I didn't like that whole part of the storyline with the one guy, the one inmate, or I guess who they referred to kind of escaped with Michael Myers or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was him, and then he jumped off.
The sad thing is I felt sorry for the guy.
Yeah.
He did. And I guess it was meant to do that, but I didn't like it. I didn't like how it was executed.
Yeah. So for anyone listening who has not seen the movie yet, but didn't care about spoilers or whatever, so there is a second inmate that escapes from the hospital with Michael Myers. Actually, if you watch 2018, I believe he was the inmate that was holding the umbrella when the two podcasters, I love it, the podcasters, when the two podcasters actually go and try to talk to Michael Myers, and they pull out the mask, and it's like, you're an idiot. Why would you pull out the mask to Michael Myers? But one of the inmates there, and it's funny, they have them all outside in this area, and it looks like a big checkerboard. And they've got each of the inmates basically chained to one of the squares. And then they have a perimeter around each square with a yellow square around it, and you cannot go within the yellow line. So, but one of those inmates, he's got an umbrella because it's really sunny outside and stuff. I guess they let him have an umbrella to shade himself. And I think that's the same inmate that escaped, quote unquote, escaped with Michael Myers. And the one that we see in the hospital that they're all chasing. And that was the other funny thing. They're all chasing this guy. It's Michael. Evil dies tonight. Which every time they'd say that, I go, no evil doesn't die tonight, because next movie's Halloween ends. Stop it. It was annoying me. Stop saying evil dies tonight.
That was the next movie called Halloween Ends.
Yes. Next one's called Halloween Ends. But yeah, I felt a little sorry for him, and I'm like, that's not Michael Myers. He doesn't even fit the build. He's
Right?
not tall enough. He's fat. You know, I'm like, he looks nothing like Michael's build. How could you even think that's Michael Myers?
And Michael Myers wouldn't be running from them.
But on the other hand, I guess that's where fear plays into it too.
It was meant to be, I think, that whole aspect of getting the mob mentality and to
Right.
show that. I'm like, okay, kind of a thing.
Which now I like that. Like you said, I like that little, you know.
It was
thing.
almost like it was thrown in after the fact. I felt like, oh, hey, let's do this whole concept, which is fine.
Yeah, it could be. That could be.
But then when they were trying to exposize that or exposition it or however we want to say that at the end to recalibrate just in case you missed it, for those who are dumb, we're going to tell you fear is, what fuels Michael, kind of a thing. And then when they say that, then all of a sudden he's like, woo. And as I mentioned, he killed everybody. He killed all those mobsters and stuff. So then, spoilers, just heads up, everybody, because I'm complaining here, is they kill Anthony Michael Hall, or presumably they kill him.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, there's maybe he didn't die.
Right.
I mean, Laurie. Well, of course, Laurie's going to survive, but Laurie survived from from 2018 to Halloween Kills. So
Hawkins survived.
Yeah, Hawkins survived
from an
too,
attack
from 2018 to Halloween Kills. So maybe there's a possibility. I don't know though. I kind of have my doubts.
Right. But didn't they? Look at all the people they killed off in that. They spent time to set up these really cool, hey, these were the kids back in 78. Look where they're at now. And I was like, dude, kind of a thing. So, didn't quite make it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, he kind of had a slaughter fest.
He had a slaughter fest.
But now,
Yes.
so Laurie survived. Hawkins survived. Of course, Laurie and Hawkins hardly had anything to do in this film. And then the other girl, other woman, the dark-haired woman who hid under the bridge.
That's
survived.
Kylie Richards. Yeah, Kelly was like, that's why she wanted to see it, because that's one of the Housewives. She loves to watch the Housewives TV show.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so she's like, oh, that's
And then, of course, the granddaughter survives, too.
and the granddaughter survives, but the mom doesn't.
Right.
That's where I was surprised. I
was
wasn't like I knew as soon as she started walking in the house she was going to die, but I wasn't expecting that.
It was finished. Okay, but it was like all of a sudden he had invincibility. Okay, one shot, one kills everybody. Boop, boop.
I hate to tell you this. He's had invincibility since 1978.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
but it was like all of a sudden here at the end, and we are talking over all this action.
Look, in 1978, Laurie stabs him in the eye with a hanger. He had a hanger hanging right out of his face.
My point is we.
Oh, and they shot him in the head too.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but again, it's the issue that it went so quick. It's like, oh, all of a sudden we've got to hurry up and finish this so we can get ready to lead into the next movie.
Yeah.
And while there's talking going on, all this action is happening. And so it was it was just weird. It was just, that's where I thought it fell flat. And then they killed all these people. It was like, well, wait a minute. That's a major character. There should have been more to that. More, well, here's a terrible term, gravitas, to that thing.
No, that's
Anyway,
a
go
good
ahead.
term.
What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
About the quickness of the killing of the mob. I think that almost had to be quicker. You couldn't really put in as detailed deaths as everyone else. Because even in the beginning, the firefighters, you get the first couple that are super detailed, and then it just kind of goes into, well, bam, 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 bam. You had that in the beginning, too.
Well, we had the old couple too with the drone.
Yeah, but they still had that was a little bit more drawn out.
Right. It was a more detailed death because, in fact, we got the death by fluorescent light, which I was like, "Holy crap! That's one I have never seen before."
But I think because there was more people around, you kind of have to be quicker.
Yeah.
In that sense, and also in the sense of that it was at the very
At the end of the film.
So, and you had a lot of deaths to go through, so it kind of has to be a one and done for that. If you're gonna have a mass killing at that point.
See, Michael had a whole lot of names left on his kill list, and he only had 10 minutes left in the film. So it was the rapid speed round, you know.
Right.
So okay, all right, you guys are going quick because I don't have time to do detailed kills. So you're just going fast.
He had to pause the craft of killing.
Well, I guess I would have, and this is just me probably as a watcher preference or something, rather than having, I think it would have been more powerful for me that rather than having talking going on, that if the music had swelled up, I mean, if we had gotten that Michael Myers theme, and every time, you know, that second part of the theme that you were playing, we're going, oh. Yeah, so we get through that. Let's say you've got the talking going through that. And then with each one of those kills, it hits the ball,
the big bass.
But you know, I think that's what it was. There wasn't like a good music. Oh, you know, ooh, ow. Ooh.
I get you.
You know,
That's a fair point.
It was just someone talking. So, but that is a good point about, okay, we've got to, you know, this is the mob. We really can't draw all those out. I got that.
Right.
Okay. That makes sense. So that makes me think it was just, if they had just some cool music behind it or something.
My thing was, okay, just the way the ending scene went down, because as soon as the mob comes around him, you know,
talking about the mob ending scene.
Yeah, at the end. So we got the mob. They've got him surrounded at this point, and like I told Megan during the film, Michael Myers just looked at him and said, "Bring it on, suckers." You know, he's like, look, I ain't gonna die. and as I'm sitting there going, this scene really doesn't make any sense for the middle film, because we know he's not gonna die. You know, it would have made more sense if they would have thought they killed him and walked away. You know, then okay, so now he just gets up and he slaughters everyone. And I just didn't like it, because I'm like, well, I know this is gonna happen. You know, because, again, it's the next film is called Halloween Ends. So we knew evil wasn't going to die tonight.
In all fairness, I didn't know that the next movie was, I didn't even realize there was a third film. I mean, you knew they'll probably follow up with something. But it was part of a trilogy. I didn't know. And I didn't even know it was called Halloween
Ends. See, well, we've known the three.
Knew it'd come back somehow.
We knew the three titles in 2018. So
Yeah.
In 2018, they made the announcement. We're going to have Halloween, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. So we've known the three titles, and any fan going to see this movie knows it. So,
well, I'm not a fan.
Well, I'm sorry. Sounds like you're becoming a fan, though.
I don't know if I'll see the other one or not. I don't know. We'll wait. We'll wait and see.
We'll see.
That time.
It's going to come out next Halloween, so.
Oh, in a year from now?
Yeah.
What?
Well, you got to remember, this one got put off.
Yeah, this was supposed to.
It got put off because of the plague. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What did you guys think about the ending with the daughter getting killed? So Jamie Lee Curtis, the mom, and daughter. So let me put it that way. So the mom getting killed.
I'll let Megan give her thoughts first, and then.
I didn't hear the question exactly because my screen's frozen.
Oh, Megan just froze up.
Yeah, hers is frozen. We're still good.
It's done this like twice. Oh, now it cut me out completely.
Oh, so get out and come back in. So we'll wait just a second here.
While she comes back. Okay, so in the process.
Yeah, there she is. She's back.
Okay, cool. Okay. So, Megan, the question was what did you think about the mom getting, right at the very end, the mom's looking out the window where Michael Myers would be looking out.
That would be the rhyme.
Right.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
The second time you said that.
What did you think? Yeah, no, we got to drink again. Yep, here we go. I'm just kidding.
I got water.
I'm out of Diet Coke, so
I'm almost out of Dr. Pepper. Megan, what'd you think about that scene?
Like I said, that was the surprise one for me.
Okay.
Because in the first one, we got her husband dying, which
Right,
they addressed that in the film.
They sure did, yes.
I guess it makes sense, and I didn't really think about that, but I really thought they were going to continue with all three of them, all three of the women of that family, continuing on to the third one. So it really shocked me that happened. It did not shock me in the moment that it happened, though, because like I said before, as soon as she started walking the house, and I'm like, you're going to go up to that window, and he's going to be behind you. It's going to be the exact same way as it was for the officer when we had the flashback. So in the moment, I knew it was going to happen. I don't necessarily like it, but it makes sense. But I also don't know what compelled her to go back in there.
Okay. Okay. First of all, it didn't surprise me at all that the mom, that Laurie's daughter, because I forget what her character's name is.
I don't remember it.
I'm bad with the characters' names in these films because really the only ones that matter are Michael Myers and Laurie. So, and Dr. Loomis, has been dead for years.
Karen. Her name was Karen.
Karen.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, that's terrible that it's Karen. They shouldn't have made it Karen.
Right.
Why? Why did you do that? Anyway, I was not surprised in the least that Karen dies. And my reasoning behind that is Laurie is going to need a push, even more of a push, to be a total badass in the last movie.
That makes sense.
That and this is going to be her inspiration, for lack of a better term, for her to go completely overboard. And yep, I got to kill Michael Myers, at any cost. He's got to go. No matter what, he's got to go. And that's what I think we're going to see. We're going to see badass Laurie, badass Jamie Lee Curtis in the last episode. As far as the scene goes with her standing on the same spot, I actually liked it. I thought it was kind of cool because, it's a callback to the original. I won't give the rhymes joke again. But yeah, I liked it because, it was a callback. And I think the idea behind that was, like they said, we don't know what Michael, because they said that Michael as a child would stand in his sister's window and just stare out at the town. And we don't know what was going through his mind. And I think that was that character's way of going, what did this child see? I want to see what this child saw. Can I get into Michael Myers' head for a moment? And I think that was her point. You can say it's cliche, for her to be standing in the same spot. That's fine, whatever. But I actually enjoyed that one scene. I thought that was a good scene. So
it was interesting. I didn't expect it. Again, it was really quick. It wasn't a bit like all of a sudden he was right there and then, waka, 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 kind of thing.
Well, you knew as soon as she stood in that spot, she's dead.
Kelly was like, how did he all of a sudden get up there? I said, because they left the back door open again.
Probably.
Well, I don't think the back door was ever closed.
True.
Oh, good. Oh, right. He had shut it, but then later on it was open. Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, I'm tapped out.
Well, I think we're at the end of this episode. So.
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
Because I just remembered you mentioned Laurie's actress. I can't think. Why can't I?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes.
I just wanted to mention the thing that I pointed out because you seem to want to talk about that. I had seen on Facebook, she went to the premiere for Halloween Kills, and she dressed as her mom.
Oh, yeah.
And her mom played the woman from Psycho.
Yep. Yeah, that's Jamie Lee Curtis's mom, actually.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so her mom has ties to horror. Also.
Right.
Actually, there was an interview with John Carpenter long time ago, and he was asked, he asked, what was your thinking about Jamie Lee Curtis and who her mom is and her Hollywood legacy and such, and he's like, I didn't think anything of it. He goes, I try not to think of those things. He says, I go into it thinking she's right for the part, and I want to see what she can do. So he's like, I didn't think anything about who her mom was or anything, but yeah, her mom has horror ties also, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, her name was Janet Leigh.
Yep, she's the one that gets killed in the shower scene in Psycho.
And Jamie also had a bloody shower curtain in her like she was holding a bloody shower curtain in the picture.
That's awesome. That's funny. Huh. Interesting.
All right.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, very cool. Well, yeah, I didn't like how she was barely in the film, really. She was part of it, but I was like, I thought I would have gotten more.
If you want more, go watch the 2018 one. Because that focuses on her.
And I think she's going to be the primary focus in Halloween.
Halloween ends.
Yep.
Okay. All righty doody. All right. Well, with that, everybody, thanks for joining us. We're so glad that you taken this journey with me on this whole excursion about horror films and then watching Halloween Kills. And I would really love to get other people's ideas. Do you agree with us? Do you agree with me? Stephen, you really need to look at it from this point of view. Put it on our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you. And yeah, with that, I'm done.
All right. With that said, I'm going to take us out. Megan, thank you for joining us.
It was
fun. It was fun having your thoughts and ideas on this episode. And Michael doesn't have a tagline. I don't. So over. What? Hey?
I said just roll the music.
I got off the screen, so I don't have it on my screen right now. All right. So with that said, over and out. May the force be with you. Watch out for Michael Myers. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
May the force be with you.